Everything changed in a matter of seconds. Welcome to NFL Nexus, your home for the deepest, most cinematic dives into the gridiron. I'm your host, and today we are unpacking an explainer that reads less like your standard sports update and way more like a high-stakes psychological thriller. We are looking at the extreme, high-pressure crucible of the Denver Broncos 2026 season. Before we truly get into the trenches here, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like this explainer, and comment down below on what you thought. You can also support the channel directly by becoming a channel member. Okay, let's dive into this, because the stakes have literally never been higher in the Mile High City. A franchise that boasts the legendary, larger-than-life shadows of John Elway and Peyton Manning is feeling an unprecedented, almost suffocating weight right now. The echoes of championship history aren't just whispering anymore. They are demanding an answer, and time is running out. Can they survive? I want you to pause for a second and really truly think about where we are right now in this exact moment. We are setting the scene of a franchise completely haunted by unfinished business. Just months ago, the Broncos were standing on the absolute precipice of glory. They were right there. You could taste it. And then, in a flash, the stadium would completely, hauntingly silent. The medical cart came out onto the field. A devastating, season-ending ankle injury to their star quarterback completely shattered their 2025 Super Bowl run right there in the AFC Championship game. You could feel the collective air literally leave the city of Denver. That singular, visceral moment of tragedy, it hangs over this entire upcoming campaign like a dark cloud. Now the question isn't just about winning football games. No, it's about survival. It's about redemption. And it's about whether a fractured dream can actually be put back together piece by agonizing piece. Section 1, the crucial years 3. And that brings us to the central figure of our cinematic narrative today, Bo Nix. This is it. This is his defining third year in the National Football League. You know how it works in this league. The honeymoon phase? Yeah, that's completely over. The margin for error? Gone. He is entering this season under an immense, almost suffocating amount of pressure to prove that last year wasn't just some Cinderella fluke. He has to prove that his surgically repaired body can actually hold up to the brutal rigors of a championship push. Let's look back for a second. Last season, he took a massive, undeniable step forward. He didn't just win, he actively bullied the AFC West crown away from the Kansas City Chiefs. Remember that punishing 14-play drive in the freezing snow at Arrowhead? He broke their will. Then, he went head-to-head with Josh Allen in the playoffs and bested the Buffalo Bills, threading a needle in the fourth quarter that only elite, top-tier franchise quarterbacks even dare to attempt. He proved he could carry an entire city on his back. But then, the tragedy struck. Now he faces a monumental physical and mental recovery to get back to that exact same peak. Can he do it? The entire franchise's fate rests on that single ankle. Section 2, a brutal opening gauntlet. The NFL is a league that punishes success just as much, if not more, than it rewards it. And the reward for last year's division title and that deep playoff run, it's an absolutely brutal, unrelenting schedule. I mean, the league office did Denver absolutely no favors here. I want you to hold on this stark number for a moment. 6. Just let that sink in. The Broncos opened the 2026 season against 6 consecutive playoff teams. 6 straight weeks against the absolute elite, top-of-the-food chain rosters of the NFL. This is historically rare. In the modern 17-game era, being handed a 6-game gauntlet of postseason contenders right out of the gate, it's nearly unprecedented. There is no ramp-up period. There are no easy tune-up games to test out that repaired ankle. From the exact moment the ball is kicked off in Week 1, Denver is walking straight through a valley of giants. Mapping out these impending cinematic showdowns really reveals just how relentless the pacing of this season truly is. Every single game on this timeline represents a unique, legacy-defining challenge. These are the kinds of games that could either catapult Bo Nix's legacy straight to the moon or send the entire Broncos organization spiraling into a full-blown crisis. You've got the Rams in Week 3, the Seahawks in Week 6 on a terrifyingly short turnaround, the highly anticipated playoff rematch with the Bills late in the freezing winter of Week 16, and then the ultimate revenge game against the Patriots in Week 17. Let's zoom in on a couple of these specific season-defining battles to really understand the pressure cooker Denver is stepping into. Week 3 is a massive early season test. The Los Angeles Rams, listen, Nix has to be absolutely flawless here. There's no other way around it. The Rams boast a young, incredibly vicious defense under coordinator Chris Shula. We are talking about dealing with Defensive Rookie of the Year Jared Verse literally screaming off the edge, while cornerbacks Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson are out there blanketing receivers. Nix has to navigate that constantly collapsing pocket, all while trying to keep pace with a high-octane Rams offense featuring Matthew Stafford throwing absolute rockets to Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams. Every single possession in this game is going to feel like life or death. And if that isn't enough to make you sweat, skip ahead to Week 6, Thursday Night Football against the Seattle Seahawks. That game comes just 4 short days after playing the Chargers. Think about the physical toll. Nix will have minimal time to prepare for Mike McDonald's terrifying defense, featuring Devin Weatherspoon and Byron Murphy II disrupting everything in the interior. The physical and mental strain here, it's just immeasurable.
And as we build the tension toward the bitter, freezing end of the year, we arrive at Week 17, the New England Patriots. Look, this isn't just a game. This is a reckoning. It is the Drake-May showdown. Remember, May was the MVP runner-up in 2025. He threw for over 4,500 yards, engineered impossible fourth-quarter comebacks, and became the undeniable golden darling of the national media. He gets all that effortless, glowing praise that Nix, the ultimate grinder, has had to fight tooth and nail for his entire life. But more importantly, this is the exact team that ended Denver's 2025 Super Bowl run when Nix went down. This late-season clash is perfectly framed as Nix's ultimate chance to silence his critics, to exorcise his demons, and to definitively prove that he is the superior quarterback in a marquee primetime matchup that will essentially define the power structure of the AFC for years to come.
Section 3. The play-calling gamble. So the absolute crucial point here is, how do you actually survive a gauntlet like this? We have to pivot to the sidelines, because surviving this brutal, unforgiving schedule falls on a brand new, highly scrutinized voice calling the shots in the headset. In February of 2026, the Denver Broncos made a move that literally sent shockwaves through the entire NFL landscape. Head coach Sean Payton, a man who is historically known for his meticulous, obsessive, almost dictatorial control over an offense, voluntarily handed the play-calling reins to his newly promoted offensive coordinator, Davis Webb. Now, Webb has 3 highly successful years of experience as the Broncos quarterbacks coach. He was absolutely instrumental in molding Nix from a raw, unproven rookie into a legitimate championship contender. But stepping out of the comfortable positional meeting room and stepping into the offensive coordinator role for a team with Super Bowl aspirations, that is an entirely different beast. The crown is incredibly heavy. Listen to this stern, ominous warning from veteran NFL analyst Brian Baldinger regarding the sheer crushing weight of that decision. He said, and I quote, "These guys will start to figure out Davis Webb and just how he calls a play, the timing, when is the ball being snapped, like just little things that everybody scouts. Their eyes are going to be on Davis, everything from the sidelines to communications to formation. The scrutiny from the national media and, more importantly, from opposing defenses will be microscopic. Can Webb find his rhythm early? Can he protect a recovering Bo Nix through that massive 6-game playoff team gauntlet by scheming up quick, high-percentage throws? Make no mistake, if the offense stalls out, the blame won't go to the player's execution. It will instantly, ruthlessly fall squarely on Davis Webb's shoulders." Which naturally immediately led to rumors absolutely swirling in the Broncos community. It's just human nature to look for the hidden motive, right? People started asking, why is Payton giving up the sacred play sheet? Is Sean Payton secretly preparing an exit strategy if the Broncos actually win it all this year? We have to remember his history. Payton spent 16 years with the Saints, won a Super Bowl, reached the absolute pinnacle, and then abruptly took a year-long sabbatical in 2022 to recharge. He's been to the mountaintop before. So the fear is, if he gets another ring in Denver, if he completes this ultimate turnaround project, will he just hand the keys to Webb and walk away into the sunset? Let's shut down those rumors right now, using the actual reality of the situation on the ground. Boldinger's analysis cuts right through all that media noise. Payton is not leaving, period. Boldinger sharply notes that Payton's kids are raised, he's already done his time in the broadcast booth at Fox, and he is firmly, deeply in his happy place when he is out on the grass. Furthermore, he has incredibly aggressive, unflinching support from the Walton Penner ownership group. Let's not forget who we're dealing with. We are talking about owners willing to spend literal billions constantly upgrading facilities and writing massive, unprecedented checks to secure elite talent. It is a blank check environment for Payton to build his exact vision. Combine that infinite resource pool with a young franchise quarterback in Bo Nix that he can ride for the next decade, and the picture becomes crystal clear. Winning a Super Bowl wouldn't trigger an exit strategy. It would cement a brand new dynasty. Payton is locked in. Section 4. The wide receiver dilemma. But an offense, no matter how well it's called, is only as good as its weapons. And the aggressive front office moves have actually created a very tense, high-stakes logjam at the wide receiver position. On one side of the coin, you have Jalen Waddle. The front office aggressively traded for the superstar back in March, bringing in a veteran with a proven, absolutely elite receiving resume. He represents immediate, terrifying defense-breaking dominance. On the other side, you have Marvin Mims Jr., the explosive, homegrown playmaker who is entering the critical final year of his rookie contract. The arrival of Waddle essentially knocked Mims way down the depth chart, possibly all the way to 5th, behind guys like Troy Franklin and Pat Bryant. This dynamic immediately sparked intense, loud chatter from pundits like Pro Football Focus, heavily suggesting that Mims is a prime, highly valuable trade candidate to recoup some of that lost draft capital. But we have to look much closer at Mims, because the surface-level stats tell two very, very different stories. During the 2025 regular season, yes, Mims had a remarkably quiet year. We're talking career lows in receptions and yards. He seemed almost totally lost in the shuffle of Payton's offense. But when the lights were the absolute brightest, when injuries completely decimated the roster in January, Mims erupted. He literally led the entire team in receiving during their grueling postseason run. Think back to that incredible overtime win against Buffalo. Mims caught a 42-yard absolute bomb down the sideline, breaking a crucial tackle just to put them in game-winning field goal range. And in that heartbreaking AFC Championship loss to New England, playing without his starting quarterback, Mims was the one fighting tooth and nail, refusing to quit when everyone else looked defeated. He possesses a terrifying, undeniable clutch gene that you simply cannot teach. So let's cut through all the cheap trade chatter and define the reality of the situation definitively. Denver is far, far more likely to extend Marvin Mims Jr. than to ever trade him away. Yes, he's in a contract year, and yes, Waddle makes that receiver room incredibly, uncomfortably crowded. But you have to remember, Mims is a 2-time All-Pro returner. He is literally the only Bronco not named Von Miller to achieve such incredible honors so early in his career. His special teams value alone is practically irreplaceable. And General Manager George Payton has a long, highly proven history of getting these extensions down quietly in the dog days of July and August. They need Mims' absolute dynamism on this roster, especially with Davis Webb bringing a fresh, innovative set of eyes to the offense. Webb might be the exact coach to finally unlock Mims' full explosive potential on every single down.
Section 5. Super Bowl or Bust.
We've looked at the quarterback fighting his way back. We've looked at the mathematically brutal schedule. We've examined the massive sideline transitions and the intensely loaded weapons room. The Denver Broncos are operating on an absolute razor's edge this year. It's a house of cards. 4 highly distinct, volatile variables must perfectly align to avoid a catastrophic failure this season. First, Bo Nix absolutely must fully recover, both physically and mentally, from a devastating injury to take that elusive year 3 leap against the absolute best teams in football. Second, Davis Webb has to somehow thrive under the crushing, suffocating weight of play-calling scrutiny, mastering timing and communication while the whole league watches his every single move. Third, the entire roster must somehow physically survive that opening 6-game gauntlet of playoff titans without their season totally spiraling out of control before we even reach November. And finally, they must perfectly balance a highly crowded wide receiver room, ensuring acquired superstars like Waddle shine, while paying and properly utilizing homegrown clutch talent like Mims. If just one of these pillars falls, if just one thing goes wrong, the whole structure could collapse in an instant. As so, we leave you with this final thought. In a 2026 season where absolutely every single mistake is going to be magnified to the highest possible degree, will the Denver Broncos forge a massive, new, unstoppable NFL dynasty? Or will they tragically collapse under the suffocating weight of their own ambition? That's the intense, cinematic drama awaiting us this season. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Do you believe they can survive? Don't forget to subscribe to NFL Nexus, hit that like button on this explainer, and consider becoming a channel member to support deep dive explainers just like this one. Until next time, keep your eyes locked on the gridiron.